Good morning. My name is David Soldevilla. This is my project presentation of my semester project for Programming Fundamentals 3. This is an RPG game, specifically a Pokemon RPG game. I'm first going to be showing how the source code works. I'm going to be also going over the classes, and finally I'm going to show how is that the program is supposed to work. So first of all, we have many library declarations and the class declarations. What the program does first is, what the program does is it creates a map with nodes which have many different events, and these events create different things like Pokemon battles, shopping, just history, or stuff like that. So what the program does in short is it loads some data from some CSV files, and then that data gets stored into elements of the Pokemon and move class. So we have these constants here, which are the amount of Pokemon in the game and the amount of moves in the game. So this is the amount of moves in each one of the move CSV file and the Pokemon base stats CSV file. So here we have first the nodes. We have the game node, which is what we are going to be working with mainly. The main node has all the subnodes to connect with each of the other nodes. It has the strings to tell a story. They have a name. They have the amount of visited times, and they have a element of some other structure category, which is going to vary depending on the type of event. So there's a struct for gym data, and shop item data, and wild encounter data. These elements are all in the game node category, and we also have a node type element, which is an enum class category, which is what helps me define am I working with a story node, with a gym node, with a shop node, wild encounter node, a starter node, or null event. So what the program does is we have many functions. I divided them specifically in 5 sections. We have the search and sorting functions for Pokemon and move list. We have the functions for the game logic, which are the actual events of the game and which move through the nodes. The battle logic functions, which tell me when I have to create a battle between a wild Pokemon and the trainer, and the player versus the gym leader, stuff like that. And finally, we have functions to help me create Pokemon in the game. So these functions, what they do is they take the elements on the list base of Pokemon, and then in base of those values, they create a new Pokemon, an active Pokemon, which is what the trainer actually gets to use. So we have first we randomize the timer. We see the randomizer, we create the pointers for the list, and then we initialize them using the load base Pokemon and load moves function. We then order the moves through by name using quicksort algorithm. And here we also have an element of the type chart class, which is the actually type chart that the game uses to define effectiveness and weaknesses. We create an object of the trainer class, which is the player, and then we define each of the nodes. And here it is what I was saying about the type of event that it is. This type of event is what defines the data that gets stored into them and the data that gets utilized on the handling of each event. Here we have the nodes. For example, this one is the starter node. So it's a little different than the other ones because the story 1 tells you to select the starter and the story 2 tells you where to move when you're in the house. We have the actually story nodes, which is just a story that helps you to move to another node. We have the wild Pokemon nodes, which are routes pretty much, and they store the level and the kind of Pokemon that you can encounter there. Then we have also the shop nodes, which store um, the shops and the amount that the elements cost. They also let you to move to another places if you to the logic to work. And here we have the gym node, which pretty much just creates a gym, a trainer, and it assigns him a couple of Pokemon. So the same way, what this does is that if you haven't fought the leader, you can fight it, but after you won against him, you don't get to fight him anymore. So that you get a medal for that. And that's how very much all of these nodes work. So all of these nodes are either history modes, gym nodes, shopping nodes. And I think those are the only nodes that we have. Shopping, Pokemon, gym, and the story modes nodes. So here we have the ending node, which just stores the ending of the game. And here we have the actual logic. So we create a node, which is the current node, and that node is what lets me move around the nodes, all the other nodes. Then we have the loop right here that helps me to with the logic of which event am I gonna actually have. So as long as the pointer of the current node it's not on the ending and the player still has usable Pokemon, uh, he gets to move into another event. And we have the start event, the wild encounter event, the shopping event, gym event, and the story event. Here I have a wall that the if the player has doesn't have the three gym medals, he doesn't get to go to the final zone of the game. And here we have the actual ending of the game. If you get to win, you get to see the final, and if you blanked out or you get a game over pretty much. So here we have the debugging print array, which I only use for debugging purposes, so that we could see if all of the Pokemon were getting the from the CSV files actually stored. Here we have the load-based Pokemon, which stores the elements onto the pointer list that we generated. And here's what it does. It opens the Pokemon base stats, gets those Pokemon base stats, and then according to all of the Pokemons that it got, it first sorted through name, and then it starts assigning the each Pokemon possible evolutions and their possible move pools. So for that we use binary search too, and that's why we sort it first here. So this is what generates the elements of the Pokemon class. We have the sorting algorithm here, which is using merge. We have the merger helper, and we have the binary search. As we said, works using the name. We have the load moves, which works the same way, opens the CSV files for moves, and then it just rates it using vectors. And each vector gets to store the whole line, and then the program processes the line so that each of the line gets stored into each one of the elements for the constructor of the move, which is the same logic that worked for the Pokemon list. So we have the moves quick sort, the partitioner sorting, we have the helper for that swap moves, which is right here. And then we have the binary search for moves. So we also use binary search for moves because we not only get to assign a trainer some Pokemon, but we also get to assign the Pokemon, the active Pokemon move. Here we have the actual events now. So we have the hand starters. What this event does is that if you're in this kind of event for the first time, it lets you choose a starter and then it just lets you move around the map. So this was made like this so that we could select the starter before the game event started, right? So what this does is that it creates a Pokemon using the binary search to find one of the three starters, and it generates that starter using the functions for generating Pokemon. As we were saying, the Pokemon that the trainer uses are Pokemon active from the Pokemon active class. So that's just one thing. The Pokemon class inherits their elements to Pokemon active class. Then we have the game node, which oh no, this is still part of this game, right? So this is a part that allows us to move through the map, and we have some checkers in all of these event functions to not go out of the scope. So then we have the event for handling the story. This one is just a basic event. If we visited the node for the first time, show story one. If not, show story two. Then we let the user to select where to move, and that's it. Then we have the wild encounter. It kind of does the same thing of printing first where you want to do or where you want to go, but it also gives you an option to battle. If you click E, then it generates first a Pokemon, and then it starts a battle with it. If you survive the battle, if you win, then you get to move again, but now out of the node. You can't fight the Pokemon again until you go back another time. So, so yeah. Uh, then we have the shopping function, which again, it lets you first to define what you want to do, if you want to go to another node or if you want to shop. If you want to shop, then it lets you buy either Pokeballs, potions, or heal your Pokemon team. So if you want to buy a Pokeball, you get to select from the whatever the shop has. Uh, it lets you select which type of Pokeball and how many Pokeballs. And will this Pokeball are, as I said, depend on whether the shop has them or not. It works the same with it works the same way with potions. It first declares uh it first lets you to select a potion and then how much of them you want. Case 3 lets you to heal your team. Case 4 gets you out of the shopping, and if you get out of the shopping, you can go back here to either go back to the shopping again or just move to another node. Then we have the function handle gym. Works kind of the same way as the wild battle, but the only difference right now is that this one help let's not only okay no this one also allows you to fight the trainer, but it only allows you to fight it one time. So if you already battle it, if you haven't battled it, you get the story one node, and if you haven't, you get the story two string. So what's the difference? The difference is that if you are on the if you haven't battled it, you get to select the option to battle, and the battle starts. If you haven't, well, that option gets obsolete and gets out of the scope. So the main thing here is that this is battle thing right here gets changed uh, if you win, Is actually what helps us to create the wall to allow the user not to finish the game before even getting into the main story. Here we have now the interface, just prints the interface of the game, of the battle. Then we have the actual battle functions, which the battle function for wild battle just allows the user to change Pokemon, but the wild Pokemon can't because it's only one, right? Uh, then this one also allows you to catch the wild Pokemon. So it lets you select a move if you want. It lets you select another Pokemon if you want to change it. And then it helps you to select a Pokeball or a potion. If you select a Pokeball, you get to try to capture it, and it's gonna print it right here. And if you wanted to use just your potion, you get to heal your Pokemon during battle. Finally, you also have an option to run for a wild battle. And this is something that happens with the battles. If you blanked out, the game is over uh, because you don't have any active Pokemon anymore. And then if you defeat the wild Pokemon, your Pokemon gets to level up and it gets to evolve too. Then we have the try capture Pokemon function, which just helps me to calculate if you are gonna catch it or not. What are the odds? And the odds change depending on the value that you choose, or they change according to the the HP of the wild Pokemon. We have the trainer battle then, which works the same way. The only difference is that in this case, the trainer can also change, the opponent can also change Pokemons because he has more than one. And in this case, you can't really try to catch the Pokemon. You can only use potions for this type of battle. But you can get to select a move, you get to change the Pokemon, but you don't get to run. Again, if you don't have any more Pokemon, you you faint and you lose the game. If you defeat the trainer, your Pokemon gets leveled, and if it can evolve, it evolves. Finally, we have the functions to generate Pokemon. This one you just creates a Pokemon active Pokemon using a string and the length of the list. So they work the way that you get a binary search of the Pokemon you want to create, and then the other functions just start creating a move pool for the Pokemon that you already created. This is the create new move pool function, which assigns a Pokemon a move according if it can learn it according to level up, or if it can learn it through, and if it has the level to learn it. So this is the function that works through that, and it just lets you to create, selects the moves randomly. We have the same move function, which just works to assign a Pokemon a move. Then we have the try level up evolution, which is a function that actually checks if your Pokemon can evolve according to level and yeah, if it can evolve according to level, then it evolves and changes to the new species. Now we go to the actual class functions. The base class here would be the Pokemon class, which has elements of all many types. It stores the ID of the Pokemon, the name, the types, the Pokédex entry, the base stats, the moveset, the possible moveset, and the evolutions, the possible evolutions. We have these functions right here in the private that they are for sorting. And we have a sorting function right here that just calls everything together. Now we have a function, getter functions. We have a constructor right here, many constructors. This one gets used when we want to assign the data to Pokemon active. And this one is the constructor that we use to create the Pokemons inside the list of Pokemons. And we have add functions so that we can add the type of evolutions and the learnable moves. So these work to iterate to this. And these are only used to get the CSV data. Then we have the move class, which kind of also works as a base class, has the category for name, type, damage, power, accuracy, move points, priority, affections, and buffs. It also has a status and it also has the strings, the string for the like information of the move. This function only has getters because this one is only just like to store also on the list. Then we have the function Pokemon active, which is the one that it's I would say the most used in the program. These are the actual Pokemon that get to battle each other. We have many constructors which help me create the function, which help me create an object, and we have getters for the private data, and we also get setters to set the level or status inside of the game. It has level, status, HP, real stats, IV stats. The real stats are the ones that actually get used for calculations, and the IV stats are the ones that a Pokemon gets just randomly. And all of the other data gets inherited from the Pokemon class. So it also has base stats and moves and move pool and everything else. These formulas right here gets are just used to create a formula for the HP and the real HP and the other type of attacks and the other types of stats. Then we have the trainer function. The trainer function kind of has all of these uh, getters and setters, but this one is, I guess, the most important because this one has elements, for example, for the shopping. It helps you. It is the trainer class is the one that has the heal team function. Add potions, add balls, add money, add Pokemon, set names, index. It lets you use the balls and lets you use the potions and lets you spend the money. So it's the one that helps you move through the shopping event. More, that's what I want to say. Uh, and we have the private class, the elements. The trainer class has a name, the name of the trainer, its team, the active index, that is the active Pokemon pretty much, and the money element. It also has an inventory, which is right here, which is the one that gets to store the Pokeballs and the potions. Then we have the type chart function. The type chart function gets to store pretty much the type chart of the game. It helps you to use to iterate through the multipliers of the Pokemon. And what it does is that it stores a string with the types, normal, fire, water, etc. Then it has an order map that maps the each of the keys with an index. And then that index is the one that is used to access the the multiplier elements here. So this array of arrays is the one that stores the multipliers between fire and water, fire and grass, and fire and ghost, and stuff like that. Finally, we have the battle function, which has all of the elements from the that works that make a battle work. They the battle class has two trainers and the type chart, and then according to those trainers and its Pokemon, it gets to define the effectiveness of a movement. Uh, if the hit, if the move hit it, what is the damage that the move is gonna make? Who's gonna go first according to first priority of the move? Then according to the Pokemon base stats. Then according to the randomly if they are tied on priority and velocity. And then all of these functions in the private are what they get used on the do turn function, which is what actually has the magic of this battle. This is what makes a turn, pretty much. The turn pretty much is if you do an attack, make damage, then whoever goes next damages the other Pokemon. And for example, because you already decided who goes first, that Pokemon gets the attack first. Because we already decided the damage, we just call the damage function and we just use it here. Um, and if we want to check if the move hit it, we do the same thing, right? So this is very much all of the logic behind of the game. Now what I want to show, it's a little testing of it. Uh, let's put this right here. It first lets you to decide a Pokemon. I'm gonna choose Fennekin for this one. And then it lets you to move around the world. So if we can check, for example, we have a wall down, we have a wall there because we need the gym badges to get there. We can go up and you can't really go into a node that is not assigned. So you only get to move around the game. So here's the first battle. Let's battle. We click E and it brings us to the battle. Now here I can select an attack, do damage. See right now, the Pokemon painted. Now we're seeing here, for example, that thing that I mentioned, our Pokemon can evolve. And because it got into a level where it can evolve, it evolved into Rexen. So now we don't have a Fennekin anymore, we have a Rexen. And just so that we can see, let's go back to Pallet Town, and then let's return to that wild encounter node. As you see, the wild encounter just got restarted, and we get to battle the Pokemon again. But now we don't have a Fennekin, we have a Rexen. And even we can notice it, the moves change also. So when a Pokemon evolves, their moves change to reflect what the Pokemon can learn. So let's do Flame Charge, attack. And just to see, we can switch a Pokemon, but we don't have a Pokemon, so we just do Rexen. So we just stay with the same one. We can use an object, but we don't have any object, so it's just gonna tell us that we don't have an object. And let's just try it right now. We can also run from the battle. So the battle ends when you run. Now let's see. We can go up and we have the shop. So let's go to the shop that is on the left. So this right now, this is an history node. We just have history. But if we go to the left, we find the shop. Now we can do the same thing. We go to the shop we have some money, and we can buy Pokeballs. So let's buy two. Oh, you see, you can only select from what you have and the options. We want two Pokeballs, so now we have two Pokeballs. Remember that our Pokemon wasn't healed. Well, we can heal it right here. Your entire Pokemon team was healed. We go out of the shop, and then we can return to Greentown. Let's just go up for now so that we can see the other shoppings. This is something that I wanted to see. So for example, if we go to the shop in Blue City, we get the same thing. Well, it's a blue mall now, but now if we see right here, we can also buy Great Balls. And we can also buy Super Potions, which wasn't on the other shop. Now, let's head back into where we were before. So, let's see. Let's go to Route 2. And Route 2 is after Route 1, right? So the Pokemon should be a little stronger. Let's fight. Oh, okay. We can't really see the level here, but we can see that the HP is higher on their end, which probably means that that Pokemon has a higher level. So we go out, let's run, and then into Green Town, go to Green Shop. We don't want to go to Green Shop. We want to try and catch Pokemon. Buy one Pokemon. Battle it. Let's do Flame card right here. He's on low HP, so let's see. Let's try catching it. Let's use a object. Use Pokeball. You try Pokeball. Oh no, the Mary broke. Let's see if we can do scratch if okay. It's a 4 HP. Object, Pokeball. You see, gotcha, Marip was caught. So now we have a Marip on our team. And just to make sure, we can go back, get a new encounter, and now we can switch our Pokemon to Marip. And as we see, it's gonna have the same HP as the Pokemon that we caught. So let's run, and now let's go into, let's battle a little bit more. Something that I wanted to show from here is, um, so the team battles, right? So you might want to level up a little bit before actually getting into a team battle. For example, we're damaging the Pokemon right now. My Pokemon is level 18, 17, I think. And if we just keep battling, our Pokemon is gonna get a higher level. So now it's level 18. Let's get it into level 20. So attack, flame charge, flame charge, 19, final, flame charge, flame charge. Now it's level 20. Let's see what we can do with this. So we go to the shop, we can heal our Pokemon again. We exit, and then we go to the the gym, fight the gym leader. You see, Flame charge right here. Flame charge. Flame charge. Flame charge. So there's two types of attacks. There's attacks that don't do damage and attacks that do damage. So the ones that don't really do damage get zero attack. That's why our Vexen is still dead. Now let's try to finish this. Let's see. Actually, let's change Pokemon here. Let's go with Marib. Let's do Thunder Shock. Now let's do a final attack with Thunder Shock. The Bibilion, it's almost gonna die, so. Oh, so let's see. Let's, let's fight. And okay, with the Fairy Trainer Gale, our active Pokemon went from level 20 to level 21, and we won a green medal. Now we're back to the gym. They're telling us about Rayquaza. So the only thing we can do here is you can try getting another gym. But there's dimensions. So what we can do is head back. Here we are. We have one of the gym benches, but the thing is that we need all the gym badges to get this done. So you don't have the items required to be around here. So yeah, that's pretty much what the game does. It lets you battle, it lets you shop, it lets you get team battles with trainers. And just so that we can see how my Pokemon blank out, uh, if we remember, for example, let's go to a battle right here. My Marie is the, so can don't let me change to Marie because Marie was dead, remember? Now try to battle it. Let's just try to blanked out. It's infinite. Blanked out. Let's continue. The program dies. Because that's what's supposed to happen when the program dies. So if you don't have any more Pokemon available, your Pokemon are like you can't really keep going on the game. So as long as you don't lose, you get to battle with your Pokemon and you get to get the gym badges and everything else. So yeah, if you wanted to continue and beat the game, you needed to go to all of the teams over there. There are three teams. We just did the first one, but I just wanted to demonstrate the mechanics of the game. At least uh, the base ones that conform the base game, right? Because the other teams and the other routes and the other shops work the same way as these ones that I showed up. And I also demonstrated the mechanic with evolution. So other than that, that would be it for the presentation. Thanks so much for the time.